we have the pleasure of meeting with the math department at West High School in Salt Lake City Public Schools. My name is Edwin Javius. I'm the CEO President of EDEquity. And today's outcome is that we're going to provide some facilitation skills as well as give you a snapshot of how PLCs could work within a high school department. Prior to really engaging in the PLC process, the facilitators, it's a critical learning that the facilitators support the team members by really differentiating what is a PLC and what is a department meeting. So one of the things I critically ask the facilitators that we work with across the nation is, prior to really engaging in PLCs, you have to really determine, this whole idea is, what is department meeting and what is a PLC, and PLC professional learning communities, and what are those outcomes? So as you start to just kind of developing your own norms, it is very critical that there is this transformation that needs to happen from here to there, from department to PLCs. And we know the critical part of professional learning community is moving from teaching to student learning. So teaching to student learning. And it's very important that we create that shift. So teachers in department meetings, especially at our secondary schools, do not have a facsimile of thinking that they're engaged in a PLC when they're actually doing a department meeting. And we know there are some critical elements in a department meeting that are very different from PLCs. One of the critical things that we know that in a department meeting in secondary, many of the information is informational. So part of the conversation becomes, what is the information that a teacher needs to do their work? As opposed to in a PLC, what are the important standards we need to teach? So as you start to make that critical shift from being in an informational meeting to a transformational meeting becomes very critical. And you can never be remiss by going back to your collaborative norms in PLCs and making that differentiation between department meetings and PLCs. Again, another critical part is PLCs is this whole use of common formative assessments, and commonly known as CFAs. That becomes the driving force of the PLCs, is designing common formative assessments. But what we have found across the nation, this becomes the most critical part of where professional learning communities get stuck. So one of the things I believe a facilitator needs to be critically aware of in this common formative assessment, there are various levels of common formative assessments that we currently use. And some of our common CFAs, common formative assessments, are grades, unit, tests, district benchmarks, observational data, and the list goes on. And you can use checking for understanding type of opportunities, thumbs up, and so on and so forth. So one of the things we have to demystify, that common formative assessment doesn't have to be formal. So as you look at some of your CFUs, checking for understanding, your observation data, your thumbs up, your quick sponge activities, that is another form of common formative assessments. So often than not in professional learning communities, we use the district benchmark as the common formative assessment, but actually it is really a summative. And what do I mean by summative assessment? It is the lapse in time from being able to check to see how the kids are doing is actually too long. So one of the things that we do in our PLC, in Equity PLCs, we make a real concerted effort that the cycle of the PLC is between 2 to 3 weeks. That's where we would like for the teachers to be able to answer the 4 critical questions of professional learning community. And we know the 4 critical questions being, what do we want students to know? How do we know the students have learned it? Who are the students, or what do we do when the students don't learn it? And how do we extend the learning for those kids who have already gotten those concepts? So those 4 critical questions is going to be the foundation for the PLCs. And being able to use your formative assessments, your common formative assessments every 2 to 3 weeks becomes a critical piece. Again, this whole idea of using CFA is a real critical piece of the PLC. Again, another key learning that we learned not only at West High School in Salt Lake City, Utah, but across the nation, that there are some things that have to happen for it to be a highly functional PLC. And the number one thing that tremendously has to happen for a highly functional PLC is that preparation prior to the meeting. The preparation prior to the meeting is that what are the materials that need to be brought to the meeting. And it becomes critical because since we are now transforming from informational to actually instruction, teachers need to bring materials that's going to support their instruction. So we make a strong push, and in our form we would like for the materials to bring is any curriculum that is going to be used to teach the following units, any pacing guides, any past assessments, any upcoming assessments, and grade book, and any other materials that's really going to support the teachers in answering those 4 questions. So as you start to really look at the subsequent video of a math department engaged in a PLC, you'll see that they have transformed their discussion from informational into talking about instruction, talking what is the kids are going to learn, what are the common formative assessments. When a kid doesn't get it, what do we do about it? And if the kids do have it, how do we extend it? So please take an opportunity to give some feedback on the video that you're going to see. But we really wanted to help the facilitators be able to front load this experience as well. It becomes tremendously key for the facilitators also, and you'll hear throughout the video my voice in terms of keeping the pace along. One thing that I believe a facilitator has to have is the trust within that group to really be able to ask for quality work. When you ask for quality work, your teachers will give you quality work. If you don't ask for quality work, they typically give you 1-word, 2-word answers, and that's not the quality that's going to really transform high school. So you'll see that I'll be pushing the teachers to really kind of give the quality work on the actual form and be explicit in the instruction. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and what you'll see now is the beginning of a PLC toward the end. If you notice that this PLC will only last about 20 minutes, so as we go deeper 30 to 40 minutes in the PLC that is very focused will get a lot of academic dividends. Thank you very much.